Have you ever felt like animals just get you? Like you have an unspoken understanding, a connection that goes beyond words. You just feel really easy around animals. Maybe you've had moments where you just knew what an animal needed before they even asked for it. If that sounds familiar, you might just be an animal whisperer, even if you've never called yourself that before. Today, we're talking about how to know if you're an animal whisperer, what that really means, and how to recognize the signs in yourself. You may already be on this path without even realizing it. So, what exactly is an animal whisperer? Well, it's not about having some magical ability to control animals. It's really about deep connection and presence and trust. An animal whisperer is someone who understands animals beyond words, feeling their emotions, sensing their needs, and communicating in a way that goes beyond training or commands. They pick up on subtle cues in an animal's body language, energy, and behavior, often before anyone else notices. They feel a natural bond with animals, whether pets or wildlife, or even animals they've just met. It's about intuition, respect, and listening, really listening on a deep level to hear what the animals are saying in their own way. Before we dive into the signs that you might be an animal whisperer, let's clear up some common misperceptions, maybe. First, being an animal whisperer doesn't mean you control animals or have supernatural powers or train animals in the traditional sense. An animal whisperer isn't somebody who dominates animals or makes them obey through force. It's not about commanding or conditioning their behavior at all. Whispering is more about communication and a mutual understanding rather than any discipline. It's also not about reading an animal's mind or performing magic tricks. While intuition plays a big role, animal whispering is also based on observation, trust, and a deep energetic awareness. And it's not just talking out loud to animals. Many times, this connection happens actually in complete silence through energy and body language and unspoken emotions. Finally, being an animal whisperer doesn't mean every single animal will instantly love you. Just like people, animals have unique personalities and preferences and the free will to choose who their friends are. The key is respecting their space, building trust, and understanding that a real connection actually takes time. All right, now that we've cleared that up, let's go through some of the signs with some real examples to kind of bring them to life for you. Number one, animals are drawn to you. Animals seem drawn to you if they're typically shy or cautious. This happened to Emily at a friend's house. Their cat Oliver, who was known for hiding when new people came over. I mean, he just wasn't seen. But within minutes of Emily sitting down, Oliver was curled up beside her, purring, and her friend was stunned. He never does that with anyone, she said. But for Emily, this kind of thing happened all the time. I've been that way all of my life. In childhood, instead of children coming to the door to see if Tammy could come play, it would be the animals asking. True story. And over the years, many have found me in the most unusual of ways. There was this German Shepherd named Casey who apparently took a liking to me. Well, Casey had a problem. He was a bit of a kleptomaniac who had an irresistible urge to steal. He would stake out the neighbors who had returned from the grocery store. And when they made the trip inside to bring some groceries, Casey would reach into the open door in the back seat and take anything he could get. Then he would bring the stolen goods to me and leave them in a certain spot. Well, for a while, I couldn't figure out who was doing this or why these things were appearing in my yard. So I did my own little version of Tammy Super Sleuth Stakeout. And that's when I caught him bringing me the loot. A few of the most memorable items: a brand new frying pan and a 6-pack of beer. If animals seek you out, if they are drawn to you, even when they avoid others, it's a sign they trust your energy. Your light beacon is calling them in. Number two, You pick up on their feelings instantly. Before an animal shows any obvious signs of distress or excitement, somehow you know. Jake was walking his dog Luna when suddenly he felt super uneasy and he looked down and saw Luna's ears pinned back, body tense. Nothing seemed off, but Jake trusted the feeling. Seconds later, a car turned the corner too fast, came very close to the curb, and startled Luna, of course. He sensed her fear before she'd even quite reacted. So here's Cami tip. All living beings are connected on a vibrational energy level. Emotional states can be picked up and reacted to, just like Jake did with Luna. But did you know that animals can also instantly read a person's emotional state? Turns out animals are excellent people whisperers. So if you instinctively and intuitively pick up on an animal's emotions before they know it, even that's a sign you're deeply in tune. Number 3, you talk to animals and they respond. Sophia had a habit of chatting with her horse, Willow, and one day she was struggling with a lead rope that had knots in it. And she was like, Willow, I could use some help here. So without hesitation, Willow reached down, nudged that lead rope with her nose, loosening the knot. Coincidence? I don't think so. Animals totally understand you because they read energy, and your words carry energy. Sophia knew that they had this unspoken understanding. So, how many of you talk to your pet? It's okay, you can tell me. I'm sure pretty many of us do out loud, no different than talking to a person, right? Probably we have better conversations with them than some of our human friends. When I was traveling a lot, I would gather up the gang and call for a group meeting where I would inform them where I was going, how long I'd be gone, when I was coming back. I gave them all the details. And I also asked certain ones to take leadership roles when in my absence. I did this for about a week right before a trip. Katie, who must have grown very tired of the repetition, gave me the, come over here look. It was clear she wanted to tell me something. So I was like, yeah, Katie, what do you want to tell me? I was certain she was going to snitch on one of the boys. So I leaned down in this very private, just us kind of moment. And she said telepathically, we got it the first time you told us, Mom. Go on your trip. If animals seem to answer you in even small ways, it's because they recognize your connection and understand you perfectly. Number 4, you prefer the company of animals. Raise your hand if you like animals better than humans. I hear that more often than not. When Mark was invited to a party, he found himself slipping away to sit with his aunt's dog instead of making small talk. The dog was grateful and leaned up against him while they're sitting there in this quiet companionship. His cousin found them and he was like, you'd rather hang out with the dog than us? And honestly, he kind of did. While I didn't dislike people, I actually really like people. I did have a challenging childhood, so most of my time was spent outside, hanging out with my fur friends. I knew every dog and cat in the neighborhood, and they knew me. They were my best friends who comforted me and were stable and steady. And most of all, they made me laugh, and I needed that. Who wouldn't want more of that, please? If animals bring you a sense of calm and ease that people don't always match, it's a sign of your deep connection. Number 5, you've had unexplained experiences with animals. Some moments just with animals go beyond logic. After Emma's dog Bailey passed, she was heartbroken. One night she was sitting outside thinking about him when suddenly a butterfly landed on her hand, and it startled her because Bailey had always chased butterflies in the backyard. And she said it felt more like a visit than just something random. Do you love a good surprise? Gift from heaven, maybe, dream vision, perhaps, a sighting? It's those unusual and at the same time personal experiences that can feel like we are in our own Ripley's Believe It or Not episode where our perception of reality is challenged. Many animals, whisperers, experience these little signs that constantly remind them they're connected to the animals beyond the physical world. Number 6, you You notice subtle cues others miss. Well, most people only see obvious. You see the tiniest shifts in the animal's behavior. At the vet's office, Mia was watching her friend's dog Charlie, who was licking his lips and kind of pacing slightly. And she turned to her friend. She was like, "He's nervous. Try sitting with him. Make him feel better." Her friend hadn't noticed at all. So the moment she sat with Charlie, he calmed down. So noticing subtle cues is one of the core qualities for an animal whisperer. I always say, notice what you notice. You'd be surprised at the amount of information you can pick up just by being a keen observer. Noticing little things like a shift in breathing or flick of the tail um, shows you're listening on a deeper level. Number 7, you feel deeply connected to nature and wildlife. Your connection isn't just with pets, it's with all animals. When Daniel went hiking, he always had this sense of being watched and in a peaceful way. And birds would follow him along the trail, and squirrels would come up unusually close. His friends laughingly called him the real life Snow White. But for Daniel, it just felt natural. My friend Janet has a magical connection to squirrels. After her dog Grace passed, she started connecting with the squirrels who would show up in her backyard. One thing led to another, and before she knew it, she was having conversations with them. Cynthia, one of her favorite visitors, would come every day, crawl up on her leg, and take treats right out of her hand. It became such a hit with all the neighborhood squirrels that she now says she has a squirrel cafe. If you feel at home in nature and wildlife seems to acknowledge you, that's a sign of your deep energetic connection. Number 8, your intuition about animals is usually right. If you ever just knew something about an animal before it was obvious, trust that. Sarah's cat Milo had been acting normal, but something just fell off to her. She couldn't explain why, but she insisted on taking him to the vet. Sure enough, tests showed early signs of kidney disease, something that might have gone unnoticed until it got way worse. Her gut feeling had been right. Again, developing your intuition is not only helpful, it's a lifesaver that can guide you with anything. Intuition is especially important in animal whispering. Hint, hint, it helps with reading people too. So, how good are you at reading a room or reading the energy of an animal? How about reading your own energy or reading the energy of another person? Trusting your instincts when it comes to animals is one of the strongest signs you're an animal whisperer. So, what does this mean for you? If any of these signs resonate with you, guess what? You're already on the path to being an animal whisperer. This is not about being perfect or having some rare gift. It's really and truly about listening and trusting and honoring the connection you have with animals. We're all energetically connected, so picking up information isn't as difficult as it may seem. If you want to deepen that connection, start by paying attention to the little things: energy, body language, and emotions. Spend time in silence with animals, just observing and being present. Trust the messages and the feelings you receive, even if they don't always make sense. Now, I would love to hear from you. Do any of these signs resonate with you? Have you ever had a moment where you just knew what an animal was saying? Please drop a comment and share your experience. I would love to hear it. And if you want to learn more about deepening your connection with animals, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other videos on animal communication. Because the more we open our hearts to animals, the more they open theirs to us. All right, I'll be back next week with more messages from the animals. Hope to see you then.